All right, welcome everyone to the Air Conservation Commission meeting. This is Thursday, April 8th, 2021. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the open meeting law are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure that public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 and Zoom. The public may participate remotely following the call-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For Zoom meeting information relating to participation, please contact Joanne Kristoff, Conservation Administrator at concom@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 143, or Cindy Knox, IT Director at cknox@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 150. Commissioners that are in attendance with us this evening are Jenna Maya as a member, George Bacon, member, Jess Gugino, member, and clerk, Mark Phillips, vice chair, myself, John Schmullenberger as chair, and Joanne Kristoff as our conservation administrator. Do we have confirmation of agenda?
The agenda is mostly okay as written. I'd just like to move the conservation office updates to right after the payables report.
Okay, all righty. Anything else?
That's it.
Motion to approve the confirmation as amended, or the agenda as amended, sorry.
So moved.
Second.
We do a roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. Do we have approval of the meeting minutes for March 25th, 2021? Any changes, edits? Nope. Okay. Motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 25th as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Payables report.
We do not have a payables report this time.
Okay, very good. Then let us move right into the office updates.
All right, we have just two really brief updates. I wanted to make sure that you all knew and could let me know if you're interested in the following invitation. The town planner is convening an open space residential development work group to make some recommendations to the planning board regarding oh good, somebody else is getting the door. Regarding changes to the OSRD bylaw and the creation of regulations that would encompass the design guidelines for the OSRD that we helped develop. That really need to be regulations. Right now, they're just a guideline. So I've heard from a couple of you that you're not able to meet the second and fourth Thursdays of the month at 10 a.m. And you don't actually have to tell me now, but do let me know as soon as you can. And then the other thing that is kind of a critical thing, we've had two phone calls now about some alleged violations in wetlands off Groton Shirley Road. And I'd like somebody, as many of you as want to come with me, that's not a quorum, to go make a site visit from the neighbor's house sometime very soon, tomorrow or Monday. I do
And that would be because the neighbors expressed some concern about some aggression on the residents' part.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
So I could be available tomorrow up until 11 o'clock or after about 2:30.
Okay. Well, let's,
As well.
And
Um,
Monday the same.
all right. So how about I will call you first thing in the morning and we'll make a plan.
Okay.
And
Okay.
on the open space residential development, if nobody else wants to do that, I'll be happy to volunteer on that.
And Maddie too.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll check in with you later on that, Jess. That'll be good to let the planner know that we're engaged.
All right. That's it for updates at that time, at this point in
That-
time.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Then our first item this evening is a discussion of the emergency certification submitted after the fact for Beaver Dam removal. So what happened was a culvert got dammed up, and the removal process to remove the dammed up culvert kind of made a mess, and it left a somewhat dangerous situation as far as if someone happens to fall in, their kid or an animal or anybody. And I think the discussion this evening is how do we stabilize it and make it safe first off. And I think, Dan, are you with us this evening?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
how are you?
Good.
It's Robert.
Robert, how are you?
Good, and I am joined by Dan Van Schouwick, the town engineer.
Okay.
If I could just quickly, and I know the commission has a full agenda.
Please.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Joanne, good evening. First, thank you for all of your continued service, especially during this pandemic. And I know you have a full agenda of items. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with the commission about this matter, which you have the picture in front of you. And you should also have a memo from the Department of Public Works dated April 7th regarding this. And the reason I'm here this evening and joined by Dan, and through you, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it over to him in just a moment, is when I was made aware of this situation, the Department of Public Works attempted to unblock this culvert. You can see from this is one of many photos. There's significant damage to the area as a result of that process. And as we see it, there are three issues, and one of them is of immediate time-sensitive nature, and that's out of public safety to just secure this site, to just ensure that it is as safe as possible so that somebody doesn't get hurt or, God forbid, killed, and that it's properly secured. And I think we'd like to present and get your feedback and hopefully agreement to just immediately secure this site out of public safety. And I have visited the site myself and have concerns on that. Secondly, as I mentioned to the agent and to the Department of Public Works, there is no question. So the first issue is the immediate safety and secure of the site. The second issue is obviously the long-term resolution, ideal solution to this culvert area. And obviously we want to design the ideal solution, and there's probably many options. Obviously, with input between the Conservation Commission and agent and the Department of Public Works, come up with the best practice, best solution, long-term solution to this issue. And then, of course, get that solution in place. And as I've said to Joanne and to the Department of Public Works, on behalf of the town, I'm committed, I think we're all committed to implement that final ideal resolution, whatever that may be, to this in a timely manner. And I understand that that solution could potentially cost, and I'm just estimating, anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000, and I'll handle the money piece and work on that part. But I think we also don't want to be here 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now with it just secured and not fully resolved. So we want to, in a timely way, and I see that as a partnership between all of us to resolve that, sort of as the second issue. And then the third issue, there is a lot of concern about how this happened, why this happened, a lot of thoughts about that. And that's important that we have those conversations as well, and get everybody on the same page moving forward. So those are the three issues as I see them. I think in the interest of time, number two, the long-term solution is not for tonight. And the discussion, in my opinion, is with all the parties as far as moving forward and the communication and how this happened and why this happened. That also needs to be properly discussed. And again, not for tonight, but for the near future. The main thing, just to conclude, is in number one, and through you, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it over to the town engineer in just a minute. You'll see on the second page of the April 7th memo from the DPW, which I requested from the DPW to be sent to the commission and to my office, outlines, and I'll have Dan speak to it, what we would like to do to immediately secure the site. And of course, that work and the costs will be borne by the Department of Public Works. But I think it's imperative tonight that we come to an agreement just to stabilize, and this picture is one of many pictures, that we just immediately stabilize this site in terms of public safety for everybody, so nobody gets hurt, God forbid anybody get killed, and from the town's perspective, also the liability purposes and so forth. So with that, through you, Mr. Chair, and briefly, I think Dan, the town engineer, is on the call. I'd have him sort of just outline what that immediate plan is to secure the site. And I want to stress, it's just to secure out of public safety the site. This is the short-term measure. We'll be back and we'll be working together with Joanne and the commission on ultimately the best practice and the best resolution to this site. And we also want to do that in a timely manner and not, have that just be temporarily secured. But for the purposes of tonight, I think everybody would sleep better and feel better if we could leave with an agreement, an understanding of what that immediate securing of the site would be, and so we can get that done. And so with that, briefly, I think Dan is on the call, our town engineer, have him sort of outline sort of what that approach to secure the site from their perspective is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No. I just want to thank Robert for your insights, and welcome, Dan. And if you could give us some thoughts.
Sure. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Like Robert pointed to in that memo that was sent by Mark, really that pretty much the second page kind of summarizes in general what we'd like to do kind of a temporary stabilization, which includes folding the edges of the culvert back and then using clean backfill and erosion control blanketing to sort of stabilize those slopes right near the top of the culvert. There would be handwork done as part of this, as Mark had mentioned in the memo. And Also, it is good to note that there is a gate and there's a Jersey barrier that would remain, the gate would remain locked and the barrier would be in place with no trespassing sign on the north side of the opening. Kind of, earlier in the memo, Mark did talk about how this is an ancient roadway that was, put in place but has never been used. So I did speak to Mark today, and we both were on the same page, like with the long-term solution, thinking that this is, not a roadway that the DPW will need. I know we'll talk about long-term later on, but would probably be something that we could open up rather than having a culverted passing there. But obviously that would get vetted out through a long-term solution, proper design and permitting and planning. But yeah, in the short term, it would basically be to stabilize the area and secure the area to prevent any traffic in the area.
Dan, can you visualize when you fold the culvert back on itself? Will it be tight enough to be able to, are you going to cover it up with dirt or gravel or?
That would be the idea, yeah, just to try to fold back as much as possible so that it could be buried and so there's no sharp edges sticking up, to kind of just have more of a straight opening there without jagged edges sticking up.
Do you think you might have to put something across the top of it to fill in any gaps?
At this time, I think we could get away with just folding it back and solidifying, restoring the sides there. But I guess once we got into the work, if we determined that it wasn't possible to have it folded back, then we might have to consider placing some kind of covering over there to cover the opening. But if that would be, I guess we'd want to cross that bridge then.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Commissioners have any comments or thoughts?
I have a question. The plan on page 2 references that metal gate's going to remain secured. And that handles the approach from the north from DPW property. But it's really much easier to get to that gap and the ragged edges from West Main Street, just walking up 150 feet. And I mean, when I was there a couple of days ago, the Jersey barrier was at an angle. It wasn't remotely blocking access. And I mean, I also have concerns for wildlife, not just people. And they certainly won't look at a Jersey barrier and say, oh, I better not go there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other options we could do. We could do some more barriers to create kind of a boundary around it, or we could do some kind of temporary fencing as well over the area. I'd have to kind of get a better eye on it, but I think there could be options to better secure it as well, maybe just in the localized area too. And I know on the south side, we could also maybe add some barriers coming off of West Main Street with no trespassing signs over there too. But yeah, that we could definitely
I mean, I
add some security there.
mean, I would say John's intimation of a suggestion about maybe some those temporary metal plates you see on road holes.
Yeah,
Something like that going over this top would protect both people and wildlife.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that too. Is that large, or is it too large of a hole to be able to put a road plate in there, Mark? Or
Very
large.
do you know the dimensions roughly? I'd have to kind of check. I'd have to check if we have the proper plate size. We have some in stock, but that might be an option. I'd have to kind of compare the dimensions of the hole to the plate and make sure it spans it properly. I know it is a large 84-inch culvert.
I think
Yeah,
Mark indicated the culvert was about an 84-inch diameter culvert. So Mark, you could figure out whatever.
Yeah. So 7 feet, but it's probably, it looks somewhat buried. So, maybe it's a 5-foot plate, and, maybe it takes a plate or two, coming in from the picture that we're seeing now that, kind of hits against the edge of the fencing there, but lays across or something. But I think, like you said, securing, putting the erosion blanket in there and keeping the dirt from falling into the the channel itself, and then once you've got that down with the stakes and such, then maybe, the road plates on top, maybe.
Yeah, I can, I'll discuss that with the superintendent, but if the dimensions work out, I think that would be good to, properly, to better secure it. Yep.
What's your time frame?
We could, I'm sure we could probably get going next week doing it. I'd have to check with Mark on it to see if, I don't know if the highway guys would do the work. I would assume so. This is something they could probably take care of. So that would be my guess, but I'll have to confirm with Mark.
Okay.
In the interim, Dan, then maybe, like you said, would it be possible to, tomorrow, maybe put surround this with a bunch of Jersey barriers such that, kind of like hay bales and stuff you would do in a typical erosion control, but, Jersey barriers, one consecutive right after each other,
Yeah, I'll check with the guys. I know that it was tough getting access down to there, but obviously they got there to open it up. So I would think they can. Yeah, so I'll check with them and see if we can do that.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
Just one other question. Would you be bringing in, for temporary stabilization, would you be bringing in new dirt to that area?
We have stockpiles of clean material in the DPW yard. We'd probably use that.
And what do some of the other commissioners think about dirt going in without any erosion barriers or supervision from us? Or not?
It would be nice to be able to just to ensure that the dirt wasn't going to go in. But I'm assuming you guys would know how to do that. And,
Right. Yeah, this is, pretty standard stuff that our guys could do. I don't know if Joanne would want to come take a look at it when they're doing the work or before they get going or whatever. She could do that, or I could have them take some photos as they're working too.
Oh, I'd be very happy and willing to be on the site. There's, I don't want to jump ahead of any commissioners who want to speak, but I just want to also say to the left of this big hole, there's also a big pile of unstable soil right on the edge of the slope down to the stream that also needs to be secured somehow. Jute blanketing. I mean, it's really, I'm not really sure how that's going to get secured. It's all going to just wash down into the stream unless we cover it with something.
Where is this located?
It's to the left. I wish I had put more pictures, but this photo is upstream is to the right and downstream is to the left.
Okay.
So the opening of the culvert is, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 feet to the left of this, the edge of this photo. And so I think all the dirt that used to be on top of this culvert is now in a pile right next to the mouth of the culvert, up on top of a 6 to 8 foot tall banking that slopes very steeply down to the stream.
Okay, so it's a stockpile that we
Yeah.
basically need to remove.
I'm not sure if you can see this, if I hold this up, but that's Joanne standing on top of a pile that's at least a couple of feet higher than what had previously been the level land.
Yeah. And so the hole is just to the right of that picture that Jess,
Yeah, the hole is over on this side, right?
I think the hole is to
Oh,
the
no,
right,
yep,
the right of
yeah,
where
the
I'm
other side,
standing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the other side. And then this side is the downstream part where there was a lot of scour in the wetlands as well.
Yep. Dan, I could FaceTime with you from this site tomorrow, maybe, so that you can get it. The pictures are really tough. They,
Yeah.
you know, you can't tell the whole story just, you know, one picture at a time. I think if I could walk you through the site, you might have a better appreciation of what we're up against.
Okay, yeah, that would help to see if there's a few other areas we need to stabilize. We could do that at the same time.
Yep.
Any other thoughts or comments from commissioners? Anyone viewing or listening? Okay. So I think in the interest of safety, this should be taken care of pretty quickly. At least stabilizing it and protecting people and wildlife from those jaggedy edges and the wetlands from dirt piles. And so Dan and Joanne, you will be in touch tomorrow and come up with a plan.
Yep. I
Yes.
think we can do that. I know we can do that.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else on this issue? Anything else you want to say, Robert?
I just want to thank the commission, Joanne and Dan, for the opportunity this evening. And again, I think I have a confidence in Dan to put together, in consultation with Joanne, the necessary plan to just secure the site appropriately. And from what I'm hearing, as long as the engineering permits it, the preference of the commission would be to have those plates across the top for the purposes of covering it, but also for wildlife and so forth. I think that's a good point if we can do that. And then I will work with Dan and Joanne and our other resources. We'll be back in the near future to start a discussion with the commission about the process for coming up with the ideal best practices solution to this whole area moving forward. You know, and when I say that, a solution that's in the best interests of environmental and conservation practices, public safety, and engineering. So we are committed to that. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. All righty, thanks everyone. Thank you, Dan. I guess we will see you later on this evening. Gonna bookend this thing. All righty, next item this evening is the public meeting request for determination of applicability at 219 Woodland Way, Ann Nee. And Ann has requested or wants to put in a swimming pool in her backyard out on Woodland Way. And there were Joanne and Jess and I went out there last Friday, and had a look around. And is Ann with us this evening?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you this evening, Ann?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. It was nice to be out at your place the other week.
Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate you all taking the time to do that.
Absolutely. So, Joanne, do you have any thoughts or observations from our visit?
Well, so the visit was great. It was really nice to see Anne and welcome her to town in her new home and see the challenges that her site represents. I think we came up with a pretty good solution, and I actually have a little additional info to add. I had a chance to talk with Luke Pyburn, who's the site work contractor. And Anne, you know this, but nobody else here knows that her infiltration, her roof drain infiltration system was installed. this
Yes,
will-
I was going to update you on that.
Yes.
Yes.
So John and Jess, the pink spray paint we saw on the ground was
Yep.
kind of a rough approximation of where that structure was going, but it's not exactly where it ended up. So Luke knows he has a whole lot more work to go over there, and he's aware of the desire for the pool, and is going to do everything he can to accommodate Ann's desire to have a pool.
Do you have any thoughts or observations, Jess?
No, I think I'm comfortable with yours and Joanne's assessment.
Okay. So
So just so everybody else knows, the Anne had talked about shifting the pool over a little bit, but now it really looks like it's going to be where it was on the sketch. And if anything, the fencing is going to be moved in a little closer to the pool on the right-hand side as you face the pool, so that it doesn't encompass the bulkhead. And if anything, the work is going to be slightly outside the buffer zone, and what work is being done is really barely in the buffer zone.
okay. Are there any other thoughts or comments from anyone? No. Is there a motion to issue the negative determination for the RDA at 219 Woodland Way?
Any suggested conditions,
Still-
Joanne?
Yes. The conditions would be that if the Pyburns can't use the soil that comes out of the hole for the pool excavation, that it be removed from the site. And that all appropriate erosion control measures be used.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. So you are able to proceed with your pool after a 10-day waiting period, and this will be submitted on Monday, Joanne?
Yep, I should be able to issue this on Monday, and so you can either come down to Town Hall
Mhm.
and pick it up out front, or I will certify mail it to you.
Okay, you could probably certify mail it to me. Right now, the pool is not going to be going until June.
Okay,
So we have plenty of time. I
All right.
just wanted to get everything lined up beforehand.
all right, that's great. So as John said, there's a 10-day appeal period.
Mhm.
If they're not starting till June, that won't slow them down at all.
No.
And a pool warming party.
Yes, absolutely.
All
And I
right,
thank you all for all your help. I appreciate it. And especially Joanne, I understand a lot more than I did before I saw the site, before she came by.
Oh, that's good. You have a very complicated site.
Yeah, I realize that now.
it was nice to meet you and enjoy your pool.
All right, well, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you, you too. Let's see. So do you need to close out the public meeting or public?
Nope.
No, okay. Our next item this evening is public meeting RDA at number 69 Nashua Street, Richard Zola. Is Richard with us this evening? Oh, there you are. Waving.
Trying to find the button.
Yeah, we were out there right after we were at Ann's last Friday to take a look at the Zola's property, and you wanted to put in how long, is that 13? 16 foot?
Around, yeah,
Was it 13 or 16? I forget.
16.
16, okay, thanks. There was fairly steep slope, which you were wondering about flattening out somewhat. And a thought was perhaps down at the bottom of the slope, putting some boulders, almost to make like a short wall, so that the slope itself didn't extend any further into the wetlands. And other than that, the dirt that comes out of the hole might be used for the slope.
Yeah, we don't bring in any dirt.
Not going to bring in any dirt.
Yeah, we're trying to use native soil.
Mhm. And the pool itself is only, what, 4 feet, 3 feet deep? It's not deep, right?
Yeah, 3.5 feet. Yeah.
3.5 feet. Saltwater pool. It sounds like the salt content is not great. And in the wintertime, you don't need to drain the pool at all. Just blow out the lines.
Right.
So seems pretty straightforward. Did you have any additional comments, Joanne or Jess?
And it wasn't there was a retaining wall also that was going to go in.
Yep.
Yeah, my only other comment would be if there is soil beyond what you need to flatten that slope down to the boulder wall, that you just take it off the site. And that, so we can put that as a condition, and erosion controls.
Also, like, no tree
have been-
removal in that slope area.
What was that, Jess?
No tree removal in that slope area. Okay.
No.
And I think the Zollers were also planning on planting native vegetation on the slope to further stabilize the slope.
Yeah, that was a question I had for you, Joanne. I looked up juniper and I can't remember the exact name that you had recommended.
Oh, I was saying blue rug,
Okay,
maybe, but there are a lot of there are a lot of different varieties of creeping juniper. Bar Harbor is one, blue rug is one.
okay.
We can work together on that when you get that far. That's the
great.
easy part.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun part.
Hit that too.
Sean, just one thing, you did mention about the salt water. I know we talked about that earlier. But I thought they did say you would have to drain down below the level of the filtering system and everything, I assume, during the winter, correct?
No, I guess I talked to the pool company. They kind of blow it out and cap it. So there is no water that gets lost, because there's other places, people, with water conservation, stuff like that, they don't really want. So they kind of changed how they do that. So we don't waste
I'm
water.
sorry, I didn't quite hear that. Can you speak up a little bit?
They change how they do that, so you don't waste water, so you're not dumping water out in general, because of conservation, for water conservation. So they blow it out and then they cap it, so it's bubbling and they cap it. That's how they get the water out of the lines. They don't drain the pool anymore.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And you were there as well. Do you have any thoughts or comments?
I think their plans make sense, and they were in the conversation very mindful of the impact on the resource area. So I'm inclined to trust their intentions and their work.
Mhm. Okay. Anyone else have a comment? Listening, viewing? All righty. So is there a motion to issue a negative determination for the RDA at number 69 Nashua Street, Richard Zola, with the conditions that, well, what are the conditions? That no soil is brought in, any soil that's extra is taken away.
Erosion controls.
Erosion controls, slope stabilization. Anything
No
else?
tree removal.
No tree removal.
So moved.
Second,
All right, it was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
aye.
And vote 5 passes unanimously. So again, there is a 10-day waiting period after it's issued and submitted. So after 10 days, after Monday, if there's nothing from DEP, then you can go ahead and do your work.
Thank you.
Great, so, Rich and Mary, do you want me to just put it in certified mail to you, or
Yeah,
do you want to
that'd
come
be
down and
fine.
pick it up? Okay,
Whatever, yeah, that's easier, yeah, whatever.
all right,
Thanks.
All right, it was nice to meet you.
That's be, yeah.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Yep.
thank you.
Good luck with your project.
Thanks.
All right, you take care. Good evening.
Too.
Next item this evening is the public hearing, continued notice of intent at number 1 Nemco Way, Tanya Oils. Did we get a DEP file number for that? We did, didn't
not
I
yet,
Not
just
yet.
looked, we haven't gotten one yet.
no,
we? Okay, so DEP file number to be continued. So can you give
Hello.
a bit of an update, please, on
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Carolyn Gorst with Epsilon Associates. And I'm here on behalf of Catania Oils for their new building addition and improved stormwater management system on the site at 1 Nimco Way in Ayer. Some people who are here with me this evening, we've got Alyssa Jacobs, Epsilon Associates, Scott Whitney, design builder from Concord Building Services, Paul Chisholm, project manager from Keach Nordstrom, Bridget Souza, also from Keach Nordstrom. And can I share my screen here?
Sure.
Yes, you can.
All right, here we go. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep, you can see it.
All right, so this is the plans of the site. The hearing for this notice of intent was opened on March 11th. We completed a site walk with you all on March 20th. During which we had some concerns that were brought up. We provided you all with some supplementary materials sent electronically on March 25th. And then I dropped them off with Joanne, some printed versions, which she should have distributed to you all yesterday. So basically there were 3 issues that were brought up on the site walk. One was the location of a compensatory wetland from the adjacent property built sometime in the 1980s, and whether or not that was the stormwater pond that we were proposing to fill in as part of the new building addition on the site. Also came into question the jurisdictional nature of that detention pond on site, given some wetland flagging that was done in 2015. We were also wondering about the presence of any riverfront area associated with a perennial stream that's shown on USGS maps, and the lack of a request for certificate of compliance from the 2015-2016 work. So regarding that first issue, the compensatory wetland, we did, well, Joanne sent us the plans for that compensatory wetland. Bring it up right here. Has a very unique shape, and after a few Google image searches, we found the location of that compensatory wetland to the southwest of the site. That's not on our site. It's got a very distinct Y shape in the center. So that compensatory wetland is not part of our project or anywhere near our project area. So put that one aside pretty quickly. The next concern was the stormwater detention pond having been flagged in 2015 along its eastern edge. So we did a little digging into the pond's history. Joanne provided us with the notice of intent of the initial creation of that pond. Let me bring that up as well. And it was initially created as a stormwater detention pond. And in this document that Joanne forwarded to us, you can see that there was stormwater detention calculations made. And per the bylaw, stormwater impoundments such as retention or detention basins shall not be considered ponds. So we stand by our original statement in the notice of intent that this detention pond is non-jurisdictional. It also is referenced in other plans since that time as a detention pond and has never been shown on plans to have a 100-foot wetland buffer or anything of the like. So we believe that there is a precedent for considering this detention pond as a retention detention pond and not as a jurisdictional pond. The next concern that was brought up was the riverfront area. And USGS maps, the most recent ones do show, where did those go? They do show a perennial stream being located in this area, mostly starting at the culvert which drains away from the detention basin where it enters this large BBW here. And in our original NOI, we talked about that, the fact that everywhere upstream is culverted, where that perennial river is located, and that where it's mapped, currently there's no visible river channel. There's no channelization. It's all a big pond. It's permanently ponded. So we're not quite sure what to do with the riverfront area. Maybe you guys can help us figure out whether we should show that on our plans or not. But again, in previous plans for work done in this area, riverfront area was not shown. So we kind of used previous plans as a precedent for not showing the riverfront area on our engineering plans. But so that's where we're at with that. And then the last concern was the request for a certificate of compliance from the 2015-2016 work that was done. And we are going to file a separate certificate of compliance request. We're filing that now, and we can discuss that at a later meeting. Hopefully the next one to be determined, but we will be submitting that request for a certificate of compliance for the 2015 work on the site very shortly. And with that, we'd like to open it up for discussion.
All righty. Comments from commissioners? Any thoughts? Comments from,
Sounds good to me, actually. So
who was that, Jess?
that was Jess. Yeah.
George, how do you feel?
Yeah, I guess I'm okay with it.
Jen?
I think it's good. I would be curious to hear from Joanne maybe about the riverfront question, that last little bit, but the rest of it seemed fine.
Mark, you have any thoughts?
Well, I'm looking, yeah, I guess I am a little confused on the riverfront area thought process. Sort of it. I'm looking at this drawing, like, well, of course you can't see that. I don't know, Stony Brook Associates Realty Trust, which shows the title insurance survey plan of the land.
What was the title of that?
It says title insurance survey plan of the land.
Okay.
This was in your,
In 1992?
I'm sorry?
In the one from 1992?
Right.
Yeah,
So
let me bring that up.
Yeah, the first page of that. So in there, it indicates approximate location of intermittent stream. Then you go to the next page, and And then the next drawing that you have in from the next section, the site plan from 93, does indicate a brook going into this detention pond.
Mhm.
Um,
But where it comes out has been mapped as perennial.
okay. And that's the exit into the larger inside the rail thing we're talking
Yes.
about. Right? Okay.
That large BBW.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, as long as that is not of any significance, then I'm comfortable. Thanks.
Thank you.
You have some thoughts, Joanne?
Well, I do, and I kind of agree with Carolyn that this is still a head scratcher. You know, when you look at the series of plans, there's, you know, there's starting with the 1992 plan, there's an intermittent stream that goes into the pond. And there's some kind of, I think at that point, the exit to that pond had been culverted. But then you look at the 1993 plan, and it doesn't show an exit to the pond. And yet on the, what's the date of this one? The next plan that we were given shows the exit again. And continues to show the exit. So,
I mean, this site has been heavily altered
oh yes,
over the time, and that large BBW, you know, probably has some history of impoundment. That's why the canalization is not there anymore. I'm not sure.
John, we have about 5 minutes.
Alrighty, thank you, Jen.
Yeah, so on the 2015 plans, there's a 100-foot buffer shown off. I don't think they had a 200-foot buffer from there. So.
I don't have it here with me, but I remember the narrative from Ecotech from the 2015 plan, talking about the perennial river, perennial stream having been put in a culvert. And I assumed that it was the discharge from this pond. But then on the site walk, we saw a different culvert going into that big BVW system. Do you remember that?
I do. Maybe one of the engineers can speak up, and if they remember where the other culvert was leading. Maybe that's shown on the plans.
Hi there, it's Bridget. So if you go back to that 2015 plan, Carolyn, we looked specifically at two culverts into that wetlands. One was from the 2015 work. That was the one that was the dual pipe. It was 12-inch dual pipes coming in. And then the second one, we had to walk a little more into the brush. That was the 24-inch from the pond. So those are the two culverts that we looked at.
Okay.
And it's always struck me as a little bit curious that a stormwater pond would be at the end of an intermittent stream. So I can't quite reconcile that. I know we're seeing stormwater calculations, and maybe it was the case in in the before times that that was standard practice to feed a stormwater pond with a stray, I just don't know.
It was, what, 40 years ago? Over 40 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know things were very different then than they are now.
And I would imagine they were trying to control where water went, both around the building and from the road. Might not have been ideal, but standards were different back then.
Well, that's right. And there, I think when the building that is now Nasoya was built, it was actually built on top of a pond, which now we see that Y-shaped compensatory pond out in the BVW.
Mhm.
Got about a minute left.
Okay, thank you. Is this something that we can figure out?
I mean,
Or-
it's all basically, whether or not we're showing the riverfront area on the plans. If it is culverted up until that point, we wouldn't show the riverfront area off of the culvert.
Mhm.
So I'm inclined to request that we don't show it on the plans.
Anybody object to that?
I don't.
No.
And I'm just not even sure how to advise you guys on this or what to recommend. Because I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah, I guess over time, the fact that it was culverted kind of eliminates the fact that there may have been any sort of riverfront area. It's now underground,
Right.
so yeah, at a loss, I guess.
Yeah. So, let me go ahead and vote on this one.
Mhm.
Is there a motion to approve the notice of intent at number 1 Nemco Way, Catania Oil, DEP file number 2B assigned?
Actually, you know what, John, we can't, we could probably vote on this, but we can't issue orders until we get a DEP number.
No, but we could begin the process of drafting it and going back and forth. We can't actually issue it
Right.
until that point, but we could be moving forward.
So we could,
And then if DEP raised any comments when they do issue the number, then we would revisit it at that point.
yep. So
I can reach back out to DEP too. I've sent them one email so far, but I'll reach out again.
Yep. So John, I would suggest that when you call for the vote, you ask for a vote pending,
right.
not just the DEP file number, but addressing all of their technical comments that they're likely working on.
Alrighty, so is there a motion to approve the notice of intent at number 1 Nemco Way, Catania Oil, contingent on issuing the DEP file number, and also, what did you say, Joanne? Also
Addressing DEP's technical comments.
addressing DEP's technical comments,
So
Yeah,
moved.
like revisiting it if necessary.
revisiting if necessary. George, made the motion. Is there a second?
Mark, did you second?
Yeah, I did second. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mark, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, I apologize. So the motion was made by George Bacon. It was seconded by Mark Phillips. We will do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. And,
Joanne, can I ask a favor?
You can ask.
Looking at the last aerial that was provided, the June 2019, can we look into what is contained in the silo that is now rusting next to our detention pond extremely poorly? I'd like to make sure that that does not turn into a leak of any sort, but you can see from 2010 to 2019 how quickly it's rusted.
Does anybody from Catania know what's in that silo? Or is it,
I think it might be Nasoya's, but I
is
can't
it a
quite tell.
Nasoya silo?
That is Nasoya's.
Okay,
If we could,
It's Nasoya's. I think it might have been at one time like some part of their wastewater management stuff. I don't know what's in it, but I think that was what showed up on records.
Okay.
Jay Brackett can speak to that.
I can answer your question. I worked there for 11 months. It's a trickling filter. So it's not a tank.
okay,
There's no liquid inside.
okay,
A
great,
trickling
thanks.
filter.
Yeah, so it has a bunch of baffles that water would flow through there, and through anaerobic activity would break down I don't really know what I'm talking about, but break down all the stuff.
Something.
Any breakdownable stuff. Yeah.
The stuff that needs to be broken down.
Okay. All right, great, thank you. I had to make sure it wasn't like, who knows, like, be it wastewater or whatever and ends up leaking into our compensatory or what have you. So thank you.
Yeah, so it's not a tank. It's empty and it can't hold water. Anything that goes in there flows out to a substructure.
Oh, good. And so it just really needs a coat of paint.
Maybe.
It needs to be removed, but we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So Joanne, you can issue or write up the orders.
Yeah, Carolyn, you and I can have a back and forth about that. It's kind of what our process is for me to come up with a draft and as a courtesy, run it by you. And if we feel we can make any edits that you suggest, we will. And we try to be as accommodating as we can, but you know, there is always a line beyond which we can't go. So we'll work on that.
Thank you very much. Sounds good.
All right, that was an impressive, what am I trying to say? Digging in, you know, finding those pictures of the pond is like, well, that's it. What else can I say?
Yes, thank you. For
Joanne helped a lot too.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of help from Catania and Concord Building Services and Keach Nordstrom. So it's a group effort.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, this is really the value of maintaining our historic files. And I just have to say again that the only place on the planet that plan existed was in our file cabinet. So DEP doesn't keep these records. We are the keeper of this information, and it's a very important undertaking. And so exciting to be able to share it because it's there in our files. So that was good.
Are we able to close this hearing then, or do we got to wait until we get a number and all of that?
Or we have to wait for a number and that we confirm no DEP issues and that everybody's in agreement on the order.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, so you have to continue the meeting.
Yeah. There's a motion to continue the public hearing notice of intent at number 1 Nemco Way, Catania Oils, DEP file number 2 be assigned until, when might that be?
I'm thinking May 13th because our next agenda is already full with all the other things.
Okay, until May 13th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by George Bacon. It was seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night all.
Thank you.
Yep. Crew. Our next item this evening is a public hearing, continued notice of intent, number 9 Victor Drive. Again, DEP file number to be assigned. And we had Seth Donahoe with us.
Yes, sir. I'm here tonight.
And no number from DEP yet, right?
We actually received via email the file number for this one. It's 100-0456.
Didn't I put that on the agenda? Because I knew we had that one. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
because that's the file number I will remember. It's just 456. That's-
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, why would you want to remember that?
well, because then I don't have to ask Jess for it and I don't have to stop and look it up. It's just much easier to remember it.
All right. You
You
Seth,
really need to know.
were out there a while ago, Saturday, I guess, to take a look, and you sent us some new drawings just based on some comments that we made at the time. So do you want to go over the plans with us a little bit? But
I'd be happy to. So we did discuss this, I believe it was 2 meetings ago, and then we had the chance to meet on site a few Saturdays ago. And we made some comments, or made some plan revisions in response to comments we received during the meeting, during DEP's comments and also during the site visit. And I'll just summarize those quickly for you. One of the things that was a concern was that there's an existing storage container on the site, and we had proposed to rotate that to be closer to the BVW, and we've revised that so it's entirely outside the 25-foot buffer zone now. So it's further away from the wetland than it is existing. There is a chicken coop on the site along with the chicken run. We've also relocated that to a portion of the yard area. The coop itself will be outside of the 50-foot buffer zone now, and the run is up gradient of the existing run. There was some chicken waste near the top of the slope, so that's going to be removed with the restoration of the slope on the site. And we've also designated it an upland area where the chicken manure is to be composted. That's on the upland side, so the easterly side of the proposed coop, and that's again in an existing lawn area. We've specified that all the unsuitable material on the slope is to be removed. In our plan notes, we've also specified that material that is being removed is to be trucked from the site that day. It's not to be stockpiled on the site. There is limited area between the addition and the slope that's being restored, so we want to make sure that there'll be no concentration of any runoff or materials there. There's a red maple in the vicinity of some of the walls that are being used to stabilize the slope. We've shown that on the plan and we've shown it to be removed. And then in response to comments at the site visit, we've specified 5 new red maples that are between the lowest area of the wall and the BVW. So those will be placed in there and allowed to grow. And again, that area is to be seeded with a conservation mix as well. One of the final things is there was a question if a drip line recharge trench is allowed by the building commissioner. I did speak with him today, and because it is a slab and the trench is going to be below the grade of the slab, he had no issues with that. So that will be an appropriate way to mitigate runoff from the new structure. And DEP's only comment to us is that they desired for the erosion control barrier to be extended along the southerly property line, just to make sure that there'd be no migration of material onto the abutter's property and then down into the BVW. So we've shown that erosion control barrier extending up that line. And the lowest level of erosion control barrier on this site is actually, it's a triple. It has a straw wattle, a silt fence, and then an orange construction fence. So it's a pretty robust barrier that'll prevent anything from going towards the BVW. So those were our changes that we made. We have quite a few erosion control notes and sequencing. One of the things that came up was, when will the wall be built? It's absolutely has to be built before the addition on this site. So they don't have room to build the addition and then put the wall in. We'll put the permanent wall in, stabilize that area, and then proceed with building the addition on the site. So I hope that addresses the commission's comments. If you have any questions about the materials that we submitted, I'd be happy to address them.
there will be no stockpiling?
Well, the addition itself is a slab on grade, so the excavation is very small. And then the materials that are being removed from the wall area, as I said, those would be trucked off the site that day. We don't anticipate stockpiling. We do have in our notes that if there is temporary stockpiling of the fill material for the addition, that is to be surrounded by additional erosion control barriers due to the nature of the site, I don't anticipate it being reused on the site. It'll probably be brought off the site.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because it's, yeah, in that site disturbance notes, it says stockpile should be surrounded by hay bales and covered with tarps. But that probably won't happen.
It shouldn't. There's really, as they're going to build the wall first, that fill material will need to be brought in. And then what little fill is brought out from the knee wall installation for the addition will have to be brought off the site as well.
All righty. Comments from commissioners?
Sounds good.
Do we want to require any signs on the top of the bank?
As far as no disturbance signs, you mean?
Yeah, and our standard no dumping signs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be nice to have some of those, I think. Couple anyway.
Yeah.
Seth, are you moving the container before the wall starts to get built?
I would anticipate that that's a valid question. I would anticipate that that would have to be done before, just to give some operating room in that area. So if that's a special condition of the order, that would be completely acceptable.
I'm just looking at the construction sequence. I don't see it. Maybe I'm just reading it too quickly and not picking it up. Is it already listed in there that I'm just not seeing it?
It is not. So as it's a temporary structure, we just brushed over that. So we have no problem if that's something that needs to be added to that.
Do you anticipate that it would just move the one time, or will that be in the way of the construction of the building? So do you have to move it twice, or what?
No, I think that would be a one-time. All the excavations for the knee walls of the addition could be done from essentially within the footprint of the addition. And they do have a backyard area. I'm sure they'd like to preserve as much as they can there.
Okay, and then the coop and the run will be at the end of construction of the house, or the addition, or?
I'd imagine that would be earlier in the process as well, just to give them some more room. And they did have quite a few happy chickens there. I'm sure they'd like to have as little interruption to their lifestyle as possible.
Should that be shown then, I guess, in the construction sequencing, or I know you mentioned it's a temporary, but I'm asking just in general.
We'd be fine if that was a special condition as well, if the coop was to be moved to its final spot prior to the construction of the addition, during the construction of the wall.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be a good idea. Also, the addition of the maples, I noticed 3 to 4 feet. Is it possible to get something a little bit more substantial?
What size would you like?
Thinking like 6-ish, 6 to 8 kind of feet. Joanne, is that a little bit more appropriate? I don't know what caliper size that would be.
Yeah. I don't have a
Inch and a half.
Inch and a half to 2.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I'm thinking 3 to 4 feet is going to be like lucky if it's a 1/2 inch, probably, right?
Yeah,
That'll
3
be
to 4 feet would be like, yeah, it won't even be a 1/2 inch.
Right.
So
yeah, if we could, thank you.
6 feet, I'm sure the applicant would be fine with that.
You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Jen.
Or are we going by 6 feet or 1.5 to 2 inch caliper?
I'd say either or, if we have the height but not the caliper,
Okay.
probably all right. If we have the caliper and it's taller than 6 feet, that would be okay too.
Okay.
And what about, are we calling out the plants between the boulder walls?
We did. So we specified creeping junipers in that area, just to provide a year-round evergreen ground cover there.
Yeah, that's good. I have a little bit of concern about the slope down from the chicken run. So if we could extend the planting really to the end of the lower wall, the juniper planting to the end of the downslope wall, just as kind of more of a barrier for nutrients.
There'd be no problem with that. I think it looks like there'd be spacing for about 2 more in that area.
Yep.
So for reference, there's currently 15 junipers proposed. We could up that to 17.
Okay, that would be great.
Anything else? All righty, should we vote on this?
Oh, we didn't pick a number of signs.
Oh,
Signs on posts. So Seth, we have already made up aluminum signs about this big that say no dumping, no disturbance, wetland resource area beyond this point or something like that, Air Conservation Commission. And we are happy to provide them at $15 a piece to be installed on some robust kind of post.
Just like a pressure treated post?
A pressure treater post, we've done them on the green metal fence posts before. That's commissioners, do you have a preference of which kind of post?
No, I think for that, I'd be fine with the homeowner's preference.
With what, Jess?
The homeowner's preference?
Me too. We have 2 minutes left.
thank you.
Should we say, George, how do you think about 2 signs for that area?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anything else? Is there a motion to approve the notice of intent at 9 Victor Drive? Mr. Matthews, DEP file number 100-0456, with all the conditions that we mentioned.
So moved.
Second.
You will, George moved the motion, Mark seconded, we will do a roll call. How do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Yes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. So once again, you will work with Seth, Joanne with the orders. And is there a motion to continue the public hearing, the notice of intent at 9 Victor Drive? Mr. Matthews, DEP file number 100-0456. Would that be on the 13th as well? May?
Yes.
To May
So
3rd.
moved.
Got a second on that?
Second.
It's moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Passes unanimously.
And
All
perfect
right.
because we're at time.
We're at time.
Mhm.
How about that?
All right.
All right.
So,
So,
Seth,
go ahead.
I'll make a draft and we can go back and forth with a version. And if the commission feels like they can accommodate any edits that you make, they will. And we'll take it from there.
Great. And is it your intent that we update our plan just to reflect those 3 changes that we discussed?
Yes.
Great. So I will do that and I'll get that over to you as soon as possible, Joanne.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Seth, for being with us this evening. Appreciate it. All righty. Our next item is the public hearing notice of intent at number 2 Sandy Pond Road, McDonald's. DEP file number 100-0457. And good evening. How are you this evening, sir?
Good. How are you? Good evening, everybody. Jim Cranston with Bowler. Good evening, members of the commission. We basically had our last meeting and we received the DEP file number and comments just before the meeting, so we weren't really prepared to understand those and go through those. Since that meeting, we've had the site walk on site with you all, kind of talk through those various DEP comments. Kind of told you what, what I was thinking, but we didn't really come to a conclusion as to, what was and wasn't important to the commission. So I think tonight it would be great to understand what is and is important, or if you'd like, I can go through what those comments were and how we'd like to respond to those. So what's your preference?
Yeah, could you go through those comments, please?
Certainly. So the first item has to do with the fact that the wetlands, which are not on our property, those were not located. Those were shown approximately using GIS, as well as the buffer associated with that wetland. On the site walk, I kind of pointed out that locating wetlands on someone else's property isn't really an approach that we'd like to make. And flagging some, wetlands on someone else's property just opens up a whole can of worms on our end to our client. So what we'd prefer to do is proceed with the assumed location and the assumed buffer, knowing where the exact boundary is and where that buffer line moves. We don't believe that would have a significant impact on a project. Either way, our project is confined to the limits of the development, and we have erosion controls that would protect the down gradient wetland and buffer. The other item has to do with the actual river itself, which bisects the property to the north. That was not field located, but we did see its presence during the site walk. As shown on the plans, pretty much the entire site is within the 200 riverfront area. We're not denying that. And similarly, where that line falls, I think what's shown is very conservative in that pretty much the entire site is within the 200-foot riverfront area. And there was a similar comment relative to whether or not there were wetlands next to the stream on the property. And I think that just kind of goes with the same response. We're doing our best to limit the disturbance and control any sediment, and we're confident that no sediment will make its way down gradient to the resource areas. The third item has to do with a stormwater checklist. We're happy to provide that and go through that with the updates to the plan and resubmission, which I think we're going to be looking at moving forward. So that's a non-issue. The other item had to do with what we could do to improve the conditions of the stormwater management on site. I know we talked through that during the site walk. And I mentioned that we would, approach our client to see what they'd be willing to do. Good news is that putting in a stormwater quality unit in line with that existing outfall pipe is something that we went through with them, came up with some budget estimates, and they would be comfortable with installing a stormwater quality unit on that existing line. The last item has to do with an O&M plan, and that's something that, again, we would be happy to provide with the a resubmission back to you all.
All right, thank you. Comments from commissioners?
The stormwater quality unit you were talking about, that would be off the pavement where you showed us during the site walk?
Correct. It would have to be placed basically in line with the existing 12-inch RCP drainage pipe.
Okay.
Any other comments? Joanne, you have any comments?
Jim, I mentioned the possible exemption from redevelopment in the riverfront that does require I can read it. The issuing authority may allow work to redevelop a previously developed riverfront area, provided proposed work improves existing conditions. So it sounds like the water quality unit would certainly improve existing conditions. We did see some debris, landscaping kind of debris over the banking, and there's an awful lot of invasive plants that could use a little cleaning up, and I'm wondering how the commission feels about asking for a little bit additional improvement to existing conditions in the cleaning up of that bank.
I think, as you said, with the O&M plan with regards to the stormwater management system is one thing, but an overall landscape O&M plan would be great. You know, obviously, just as we just did at Victor Drive, you know, I'd like to see the numerous commission signs, no dumping, no disturbance signs placed. As you said, you know, we did notice even concrete from the broken signpost had been dug up and left along the side of the parking lot there from a you know, a pickup. I forget, whatever you call it, you know, order online and pick up, you know, here, pick up at number 1 or whatever, right? So, so yeah, I mean, you know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to get too crazy, but I think, you know, a little bit more attention to the landscaping. You know, you guys are going through all this work to improve the look of the building. Let's improve the look of the site and really make it something that, you know, you guys are proud of. I think that would be a great thing.
Okay.
And there's less impervious surface, so that's an improvement as well.
Yep.
Yep, I agree with Mark too. It's I think it would add to the value of the property to make it look better.
Yeah,
and
and
not a lot of effort.
And in the making it look better, it's gonna function ecologically better too by not continuing to spread invasives all over everywhere.
You got competition right on the other side of the circle, so you can make it look better than Wendy's, I'm sure.
Any other comments? Okay, shall we vote on this then?
And
Well,
just
so-
to underscore, what are the special conditions that we're talking about? One would be signage. One would be clean up that slope.
Yep, I
One would
like
be
Mark's idea of a landscape O&M plan. I saw the landscapers there today and was wondering if they were just what they were going to do.
The landscape O&M plan that attends also to the invasives. Okay.
Yeah. And Jim, did you say you're going to be resubmitting, or just going to get us an updated
Well,
plan?
I guess I do want to discuss that. One thing I just want to make you all aware of is we're still going through the planning board process. You know, we have to do a traffic study, so there's a little bit more ahead of us with the board. The one change that's not on the plans we submitted, but I know I showed it to you all at the last meeting on the screen, was the westerly driveway closest to the rotary. We're going to making that a right-in only, so there's some additional work on the plan that's going to need to be shown, but it's not going to really change the intent of our project. So there's going to be a study done. I don't think there's going to be a lot coming out of that study, but I just want you all to be aware that, you know, the driveway, you know, improvements are going to be updated on the plans. So, you know, I'd love to get an approval or a condition approval if we could, or however you'd all prefer to handle it. So.
Well, and I think it would probably be a good idea if the commission actually saw the final plan. You know, who knows what the traffic study is going to come up with. And
that's fine. I guess the only thing I'd ask is that if we can all come to an agreement on the here and now, and no new items come forward that have nothing to do with the traffic, I guess is, let's put a bow on kind of the progress we've made and await the final plan, and we can submit at the end once we're through that, before we get our order of conditions issued.
All right, so let me put that on one burner. Can you explain to us how the water quality unit will go in and what kind of excavation in that slope will be necessary?
Sure, I'll let me just share a screen just to refresh everybody's mind on that.
We have 4 minutes.
Yep. That's the type of detail that's now going to need to be in the plans, obviously, right?
Yep. So that'll be added, which is why I thought you might want to see the resubmission, because we're going to have to add additional ENS measures. So this red circle is the location of where it would go down gradient to that junction manhole. As I mentioned during the sidewalk, it would be a 10 to 12 foot deep excavation lower than the grade where that elevated grass strip is. So what we would do is we'd have to put some erosion barriers. We'd probably do both a silt fence and a straw bale, a double barrier, due to the resource areas. And all of the work would take place probably from this side of the parking lot. They'd have to close that off, but that's how we'd envision this structure going in.
And it does go in line with that existing discharge.
That's the plan. Worst case, you might have to have a manhole diverting it, but I think what we want to do is just go with an inline structure that would treat the site.
Okay, all right. Anything else? So are we thinking of waiting for the final plans to?
Well, what about just getting a plan showing the detail of that stormwater unit? And I don't know, Mark, what do you think about seeing the landscape O&M that you were talking about?
Yeah, I'd like to have an idea of what that might be. And in addition to the landscape wall, I know they are very diligent of picking up trash and such, but essentially that landscape plan would not just be, emptying of the, the garbage cans, the refuse containers along the edges, but, also surveying off into the wetland area where we will be showing the signs of, no dumping and such, that somehow or another that is, cleaned up or reviewed on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yep, and then any grass clippings or shrub prunings need to be taken off site. They can't be dumped over the bank.
Understood. Yep.
Yep.
1 minute.
Have to be kept after.
Thank you, Jen.
So can we go forward with the updates without the traffic stuff? Are you guys comfortable with that?
I think it could be.
Just as an option. Either way, we have to come back to you, but just want to understand what's important and what's not.
Just, with the contingency, if the traffic plan led to major changes, then we'd have to revisit. But if it didn't have any impact on what we were approving, I'm fine.
Yeah, and I would say that as long as it doesn't have any impact along the lines of additional impervious surface.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Okay.
All righty, so we should continue this. When can we do that?
So Jim, has the planning board put out the RFP for the traffic study yet?
Yeah, we already have them on board, but it's
okay.
going to be, we're not going to get the study back for probably another 4 weeks. So
okay. All right, then
we have some time.
Let me look at the calendar. I know May 13th, and the next one after that would be the 27th. May 27th.
We are at time for this.
Okay. Well, you know, from an agenda management perspective, if you could wait till the 27th, that would be great.
Yeah, that'll work because we moved the groundbreak out to July, so May would work.
Okay.
We definitely don't want to go later than that, but that can work. So May 27th.
Yep, May 27th, and that'll give you time to create all the documents that the commission is asking you for.
The landscape O&M and then the detail on the stormwater unit.
Yep.
All right, I'll touch base with you offline, Joanne, on the O&M plan for the invasives and the signage that you're looking for.
Yep.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we do already have those signs. We bought a bunch of them, and we make them available to applicants for $15 a piece.
Oh, awesome.
I'd say, I don't know, like 6 to 10 or so, Joanne, something like that, maybe.
That many?
We could.
It is a big site. I mean, it doesn't have to be 10, but I think 6 could easily fit, and probably more.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, motion to continue the public hearing notice of intent. Number 2 Sandy Pond Road, McDonald's DEP file number 100-0457 until May 27th.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We will continue on the 27th.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jim.
Good night.
Good night. Next item this evening is the public meeting RDA at 43 Willow Road, F&M Littleton Realty. Do we have a representative?
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Joe Corsell with Sanborn Head. I'm also here with Russ Abel, who is also with Sanborn Head. He's the LSP of record for the site. We're here representing F&M Littleton Realty, the owner of 43 Willow Road. The property is the FBS tire recycling facility. I have a few photos and slides to share, just because I think this is the first time that we've been seeing everyone. So just wanted to get everyone up on the same page. So just to orient everyone where our site is. So the Spectacle Pond over here to the east, this blue line is Bennett's Brook. We have Route 2A down here to the south, the railroad that runs through the town here, Willow Road up here, and Berkshire Boulevard coming off of Willow Road, and our site here, 43 Willow Road, which is the tire recycling facility. So this is a shot blown up of 43 Willow Road, outlined here in red. And in a past environmental investigation, some sampling was done on site, and the property has a private supply well here, and this was sampled, and the results of the sample came back showing elevated levels of a contaminant, and this triggered an immediate response action through DEP. And so as part of that immediate response action, they requested that this supply well, the water here, be addressed for the potential exposures from this well be either eliminated or mitigated. And so our client elected to go with eliminating that source of potential contamination and installing a domestic water line to replace the existing supply well. And so the plan here, so the proposed water line is shown here in green. There's a few other shots that I'll have a little bit more resolution on it, but essentially we would be tying into an existing the water main up here in Berkshire Boulevard, installing the domestic line below the existing paved road here. This property over here is owned by Zero Willow Road, so not owned by F&M Littleton Realty, but they do have a right-of-way within this road. And the water line would be installed below ground to their watershed over here. This is just a screenshot from the Mass GIS Oliver website. So this is the part of a tributary of the Bennett's Brook running through the property north of 43 Willow Road. So again, just to orient yourself, this is 43 down here. Here's Berkshire Boulevard. Our proposed line would be on Berkshire Boulevard. And so as you can see, it crosses through or above the tributary there. There's some marshland and mapped wetlands here on the property to the north. This is another screenshot. This is from the Town of Ayer website. This is showing the green here is showing the wetland buffer zone, and the blue is showing the stream buffer zone here. So that is the reason why we're here today, to discuss this. But again, the proposed water line would be installed below the existing paved ground over here. And then, so I just have some other, just from Google Earth, just to get a little bit more resolution and more clarity on the area here. So I think this photo provides a little bit better picture of what's going on. So this whole area here is paved. Again, the existing water main we would tap into is out here. It would run along this paved road here and into our site. This part over here is typically used for parking, it seems like, for cars. And this is also used for other, it seems like it's just used for storage of vehicles and other trucks and such like that. I know this figure has been passed around and it may have caused some confusion, so I apologize for that. I understand there's a lot going on here, but in general, the main point to take away from this map is to show that this is the existing road here, and this heavier dashed line here on the west side here and the east side here, and this blue line is showing our proposed route. Obviously, it's not exactly to scale here, but this would be the approximate proposed line. There's a bunch of other markings on this, which is not really applicable, signage, stuff like that. And then I have a few photos that were taken just today from our site contact there. So this is on Berkshire Boulevard up to the north. This is the area where we would be tapping into the existing water main, and the line would be installed here along this paved road. As I mentioned, there's this area here is typically used for parking of cars, and you can see the vegetated area over here to the east and all the trucks that are parked up here. This is a shot essentially from the other end. This is from where the FBS facility is located, looking back at where that last picture was taken. So again, the car is parked, fence over by the vegetated area, and the trucks that were parked were over here on the left side of the photo. This is a photo in the middle of Berkshire Boulevard looking into the FBS site here. Again, the line would be running through this excuse me, paved area onto the site. This is a photo from within the FBS property looking out towards Berkshire Boulevard. Again, the trucks being parked out here, vegetated land, and this is our site here. And finally, the last part of the, the line will be installed through this road, and then the existing supply well is located in this shed here, and that's where the new service line would be tapped into. So I think that's what we had for this. Russ, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to speak to.
No, I think that covers it. Thanks very much, Joe, and appreciate everybody taking the time to hear our presentation tonight.
So the entire installation or the entire line is under pavement?
Right.
And how are you going to install it?
So it would be dig a trench and they would lay some base down, compact it, and install the line in that trench, backfill, pave over top. All the access would be through the road. There wouldn't be any access to or any disturbance of the vegetated lands on either side. During construction, they would be more than happy to put up hay bales or any kind of protection, just to make sure that nothing enters into the wetland area.
What's the total length of the line?
It's about 500 feet, I believe.
500 feet.
Yep.
Okay. Any comments, questions from commissioners?
Joe, are you going under the unnamed Bennett's Brook tributary? You're going to be over it? Do you know?
So it would be over. So that part. Let's see. So I don't know which photo of the.
Yeah, probably between the water and the van there.
Yeah, exactly. So this might show a little bit better. So I think the tributary runs this way right here. So it's kind of right below where the existing line already ends up here.
Okay. And I'm assuming the tributary essentially it runs from west to east, so from left to right on the screen at the moment?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
It seems like it runs a little bit more obviously. Excuse me. A little bit more obviously in the wet times of the year.
Is it in a culvert now? Do we know or no?
I'm not quite clear on that. I believe it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's underneath the roadway, so I would understand that it is in a culvert. It's not clear when you drive over it that there's a culvert there. But I think that's just based on the layout and the vegetation on the sides. I think we've only been out to the site in highly vegetated times.
Right.
We have 4 minutes.
Thank you. Maybe I didn't hear it, but you're going to go above the culvert.
Correct. Yep.
So you won't disturb that at all.
Right.
Okay.
So I think generally speaking, a water line has to be at about 4 feet of depth so it doesn't freeze. So I'm not sure how you could go over the culvert with a water line.
Right. That was exactly my question.
And we're missing a construction detail of the trench and the proposed paving and repaving and erosion controls and how you intend to cross that culvert over under.
Okay.
And I thought I saw in one of the site photos, and I think I see it here, what looked like a drain across Berkshire Boulevard up close that.
Over here.
That
Yep.
looked like some kind of a drain along.
Yeah, it's a slotted drain here.
So where does that go?
It's just part of the stormwater system on the site. Stormwater collection system, and all that drains to a retention basin that's on the the northeast corner of the site.
It'd be good to have a little more information about that too, because you're crossing that also.
Well, I think the water line would have to go under that. 4 feet depth, it would be well under that. That's just, a foot or so below grade, probably at most,
Mhm.
depending on what the, what it needs for gravity flow towards the basin.
Right, but unless you're doing directional drilling, you're gonna have to cut through that somehow to make your trench. Have you thought about directional drilling?
Or are you just gonna rip that up and redo it, I guess?
I think it would just be replaced. We're the environmental consultants, so we're not the ones that have designed the trenching. That's the civil engineer.
Okay.
But my understanding is they will just trench through that and then replace the piece that they have to take out to repair it. But
We have 1 minute.
I'll have to check in on the culvert because I don't know what their plans are there.
Right, ordinarily, we see all those plans, that we see the construction plans.
Okay, I'm not sure they've been developed this time, so I'll have to check to see if we have details and things of that sort with our client to see if they've gotten that far in the process of the design at this time.
Well, that's good. I think I would recommend that the commission can't really decide whether to what to do about any of this unless they see those plans.
Yeah, I guess I'd want to see the plans and then do a site walk.
Yep.
Agreed.
So can you get us those plans when they become available?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All righty. Well, then I guess we'll continue this.
The only thing I would ask the commission to consider is the fact that at this time, the site is not allowed to use drinking water source because it's contaminated. And so we are trying to get the water line installed as quickly as possible so they can have access to water again. And considering that this is in completely entirely paved area, recognizing and understanding that there's a culvert or stream in that area, so we have to figure that piece out. Is there a way that we can expedite the process in some manner to help with that situation that, they have contaminated water that needs to be replaced, and we are doing all of our excavation under pavement with the plan to have erosion control covering the excavation, each night and things of that sort to follow the best management practices to avoid any impacts to the nearby wetlands and stream.
Oh, I understand the situation that you're in, but I hope you also understand that we need to understand this completely and then go out and do a site visit. And how quickly this happens is, I guess, dependent on how quickly we can get the plans from you.
That tributary crossing is, I think, is the bigger one.
Yep.
We're at time.
All righty.
Should we do the sidewalk before we get to plans?
Yeah, we could do that.
You want to work with Joe or Rust and try to figure out a time when we could come out and do a site walk?
Yeah, we could. So this is an RDA site walk. If we could do it during the week on a Tuesday, late in the afternoon, early in the evening.
That would work for me.
Even this coming Tuesday. That shouldn't slow anybody down.
What's the date of that?
Let's see.
13th. Yeah.
13th. What time would that work for you, gentlemen, or one of you to come out and take a peek with us? Yeah.
I think generally, yes. We'll just have to check with our client and see what information we have on the engineering plans at this time. But I do believe that we, from our scheduling standpoint, either Joe or I could make that work.
Okay. What time?
Leave that up to you guys.
4:30.
4:30, 5 o'clock, right? And really.
5 o'clock sounds like a nice number.
That work for you, George?
Yeah,
How close, do we know how close they are in the plans, given the urgency of not having water?
Again, I don't know we're the environmental consultant and the civil engineer has been hired directly by the client and we haven't had any conversations with them, so.
Or maybe let the client know that getting that civil information to us sooner would be better for this particular application.
It would be good to have something on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, we'll do the best we can. I'm guessing that it exists and we just haven't seen it yet, but I can't guarantee that.
Okay. All righty. We will, we'll see one of you next Tuesday, April 13th at 5 p.m. at 43 Willow Road.
And John, you know, we could, since they don't have drinking water, why don't we work to do what we can to get them on the next agenda, even though it's closed?
The date of that is?
20,
I didn't hear that.
April 22nd.
April 22nd. Okay.
You willing to give up my conservation updates?
You will.
I appreciate everyone's consideration of our client's current situation.
Yeah. Trying to do our best. Okay. This need to be continued then?
No, it's an RDA, so
So we just
yeah.
put it on the agenda for April 22nd. All right, guys, thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your time, everybody.
Yep, thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Next item this evening is a public hearing notice of intent at Jonathan Drive, Cross Country Water Main, DPW, DEP file number 100-0455. And I'm assuming this is you, Dan?
Yes, this is me.
This is-
Yeah, this is DPW. Oh, hi again. So this project, I talked briefly to Joanne about kind of moving this to the next meeting. I know we still have to do the site walk and I presented it a few months ago. We kind of got it going, but we were waiting for better weather to, to be able to finish off the permitting. So I think at this time we could probably just schedule a site walk. I don't have any of my materials up with me to, present anymore if you want any more info, but yeah, I think you just let me know what you want to do. That's what I think best. Maybe do a site walk, schedule a site walk for it, and then continue from there.
Okay with everybody?
Yeah, that's fine.
can you just give us an elevator speech?
I didn't hear it. That was.
Can you just give us an elevator speech type description?
Oh, yeah. So this project, Jonathan Drive Cross Country Water Main, it's from the Riley Jane Farm subdivision to Jonathan Drive, installation of a cross country water main by horizontal directional drilling. And so we have, I sent in the NOI previously, and there are some wetlands in the area that will be going on beneath to complete the drilling operation. So that's kind of in a nutshell. It is on town meeting agenda Article 2, but that's kind of a separate thing because we're going under DCR rail trail. That's Article 97 land, so we need an easement there. That's the purpose for the town meeting article. But yeah, this is for the permitting for the conservation.
Okay.
Anything else? Can, what would work for a date for a site visit?
Saturday?
This coming?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 a.m.
Oh, Dan, are you back from Florida then?
On the 10th?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not back. I'm back in the afternoon.
How about the next Saturday?
Yeah, that works.
What's the date of that, please?
24th?
Or
17th.
17th? Is it?
No, oh, right. Yep,
Yeah.
17th, never mind.
Yep, that works.
I know Jess likes them early, so what do you think about 7 o'clock?
I can do whatever. My kids get me up at 5 something anyway.
Yeah, 5. What do commissioners think? You want to try to get the
8
site
o'clock.
visit and then get on with your day pretty early?
8 would be nice.
8
Yeah.
o'clock.
Sounds good.
8 o'clock. Okay, 8.
Jess's kids will get them up.
All right, we'll do a site visit on April 17th, 8 o'clock. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing of notice of intent at Jonathan Drive Cross Country Water Main, DEP file number 100-0455 until, when are we going to continue this to?
The 22nd.
22nd. I see it. I wrote that down until the 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Yes, how do you vote?
I
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
John votes aye. Alrighty, we will continue until the 22nd.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Dan. Our next,
John, just before you dive in too deeply, a quick time check. We're at 9:01 now. We went over on our initial emergency certification discussion by about 20 minutes. So I think that's the leeway we have right now for the final 3 items is about 20 minutes total.
okay, great, thank you. Our next item this evening is a public meeting is a request for determination of applicability, Snake Hill Road right-of-way, again, DPW. And Dan, you can
Yeah.
have the floor.
Okay. Yeah, before I start, thanks for creating extra time for me tonight to bring these projects forward. That they're important to get done. I'm trying to get them done by the end of June. Using some of the monies we have this year. Would you like me to go through all 3 projects kind of at once? It might be easier or whatever, or would you prefer I talk about each one individually?
Well, why do you say it would be easier?
I kind of submitted them all, in one plan set. So I would just run through each plan.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right, so I'll start by sharing screen. We'll try to get this done quick. All right.
So if we're doing all 3 at once, John, should you announce this is the Snake Hill and then the other 2 ones?
Sure, we can, yep. So we're going to combine them. It's going to be an RDA at Snake Hill Road right-of-way. The next one is an RDA at Nashua Street right-of-way. And the third one is an RDA at Highland Avenue right-of-way.
Yep. Okay. So if you can see my screen now, there's a aerial map up, which has, it's actually our stormwater map with stars and numbers on it. So location 6 star here is the Nashua Street culvert. That's the cross culvert. I'll get in more in detail just for a reference of where it is. Location 8 shown here is Highland Ave. You can kind of see the intermittent stream here, which is where that is located near, and I'll get in detail on that plan. And then location 2 is by the dog park. There's a wetland area resource over there, which I'll get in more detail there, but just for kind of an overview of where we are in town. All right, what do I want now? Okay. So this is from the RDA submittal. This is the proposed condition plan at the dog park location. So what I'm proposing over there is a right-of-way bioswale
and a sidewalk extension. So it's within the right of way, but it's off of the roadway. And the existing sidewalk, you can see my hand here extends to about this location. And there's no sidewalk connecting to the dog park. So I mean, it's a pretty wide road, but I do see people walking out in the roadway a lot, and it would be nice to have that sidewalk connection. So at the same time as doing that sidewalk connection, I thought, it would be a good idea to do a stormwater quality project, which would include installing a 15-foot by 5-foot right-of-way bioswale. And basically what that is, it's sort of like a rain garden on the side of the road, and it treats smaller rainstorms very well. And then when there's a larger rainstorm, it basically would just overflow back into the road and then into the nearest drainage catch basin, which is up here in the corner of the dog park entrance. And so that's kind of in a nutshell what the project is. So it's basically a sidewalk extension with this right-of-way bioswale. We would propose erosion controls along the boundary of the project near the wetland resource, which I didn't really actually identify, which is down in this area. You can see some of the flagging. This was old flagging from when they did the dog park project. The stormwater basin that's existing is up in this area, and then this is the existing entrance to the dog park. So that's in a nutshell what that project is. I don't have any photos of that one. So the second project I submitted for was on Nashua Street, and this is a culvert replacement. So there's an existing cross culvert on Nashua Street, which basically just takes water from the east side to the west side. It's a 12-inch, and it's a falling apart corrugated metal, like most are in town. And there is an existing catch basin actually right in the middle of the culvert. It just basically dumps right into the culvert. It doesn't have a sump or anything, so no stormwater treatment. So the project would be to basically replace that culvert. And I looked, we could do like an in-kind replacement, put another 12-inch pipe in there, but I thought it would be beneficial to put in kind of an arched shape pipe. So I proposed a 17 by 13 corrugated steel arch galvanized pipe to go through that area, because that would allow for more of the smaller critters to pass through, even though this is just basically a cross culvert. We would remove the existing catch basin and install a new one just offset from the culvert, and then we would tee that into the culvert, and the new catch basin would be a deep sump, so there would be TSS treatment there. We would have erosion controls again around the upstream and downstream sides, connecting up to the paved roadway to capture any sediment that washes off. So that's in a nutshell Nashua Street. I do have some photos there. So here is a photo. This is from the east side, the upstream side, looking toward the downstream side, and you can see the catch basin here, which basically connects right into the culvert. The culvert goes across the street to the outlet here. There's actually the pipe is actually underneath this kind of broken apart exit head wall. So this would be kind of, this would be taken up, the pipe would be taken out, and the stone would be relayed to be more properly fit in that area. Okay, back to the plans.
Dan, did you say, so is that catch basin going back in through the top still?
From the photo, oops, yeah.
Well, you said in the new 17 by whatever arch or whatever.
So it would tee in. We would have a pipe that tees it into the new culvert. So it would go into the culvert again, but now it would be offset. So it's a separate structure, easier to maintain. It has a sump, so it gets treatment, and then we'd tee it into the culvert pipe.
Okay, thanks.
So the third project is on Highland Ave. So we have, there's the intermittent stream that comes down the hill. There's a 2 by 2 foot stone culvert which comes across the street. And currently there's actually no stormwater treatment along the south side of the street. So I have a good photo of that. So this was actually a few weeks ago when it was raining out, and you can see that water, it's hard to see my mouse here, but water goes along the gutter line and then discharges out just straight into the culvert. You can see it kind of where the dirt along the side of the road is scoured out, and there's a channel where it all goes down. So this was a good location for us to add some kind of treatment and to prevent that direct runoff. So what we had done previously last year is we had purchased a stormwater treatment unit. It's a typical Vortex unit, and we have that at the DPW yard. So we would have a contractor install that at the low point along the gutter line. There's actually an existing Cape Cod berm out there. They would connect that to prevent any direct runoff from the street going down into the intermittent stream area. So then we would collect everything in the stormwater treatment unit and then discharge it into an existing drain pipe, and which already goes into the culvert, which you can kind of see here. So all the work on this project is within the roadway. I didn't mention on the other two, on Nashua Street, we do get out of the roadway because obviously the culvert extends from the edges of the right of way, from the wooded areas. And the dog park is obviously off the road where we would have a new sidewalk. So I'll kind of go back to Nashua, to Highland Ave, sorry. So I proposed erosion controls along this downstream side. We are doing work on the upstream side, so I should put some up here too. I didn't indicate that on the drawing, but we obviously should have that and have what we would have inlet protection in the catch basins. That's not noted here, but it is in our construction notes for the project.
And where does that intermittent stream eventually go to?
It eventually goes down to Schoolhouse Pond near Central Ave Compassionate Care. It goes through there. It goes all the way down the hill.
Okay.
So this goes across Compassionate Care's lot?
Eventually, the intermittent stream, the ultimate discharge is that Schoolhouse Pond. It's near the library, yeah, and it's just downstream of Central Ave Compassionate Care. That's the eventual discharge. So we're way up on Highland Ave at this point, but so I did have details in here. So for erosion controls, we would have either straw wattle or compost filter tube based on the conditions of the site, most likely straw wattles. Deep watering, I don't anticipate any for the dog park. We probably won't need it for either of the sites. Potentially for the Highland Ave site, there could be some needed because the stormwater treatment units are pretty deep units. They can be about 8 to 10 feet deep. So we may run into some water issues there. So we did include a detail for that.
Can you tell me, I don't know what a Cape Cod berm is.
Oh, okay. I must have a detail. Nope, not here. Wrong page. Can you guys hear me okay too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little, but not too bad.
Uh-oh.
Right in the middle of the drawing.
Okay. Yeah, right here in the middle of the drawing. You can zoom in. So basically, I'm connecting. You've probably seen one along the road. It's basically an asphalt berm rather than like a square curb.
Yeah.
It basically just slopes up slightly.
Okay.
4 inches. I'm going to stop sharing real quick just because I think that's what's making me a little fuzzy here. Did it work?
Not yet.
Not yet, it hasn't.
Or I can try.
think we got it. All right.
You're still,
Okay,
you're still kind of fuzzy though. Uh,
okay.
Max headroom. For those oldies.
I'm gonna say you're dating yourself there.
I'm thinking that's bandwidth, Dan.
Yeah, give me a second here.
Cindy, if we stop
I'm
using your
running low on
video, will
time.
that help?
No, it's probably his bandwidth.
Okay.
All right, I'm trying.
That might be better. Nope.
What if Dan cut his video? Would that help his audio?
You could try. It's usually bandwidth when it gets max headroomish. For those of us who are old enough to know that.
Yes.
It's a little, I think it's a little better now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if I can share screen again, but I think I can talk now.
You can try.
So anyhow, so I submitted these as RDAs, and in the RDA application, I identified a couple sections of the Wetlands Protection Act, which actually, as Mass DEP had noted in an email, are for limited projects. So it's how the board, or sorry, how the commission wants to permit these. It's totally in your purview to just give conditions for an RDA or to require an NOI. The Highland Ave project is within the roadway, so that one probably, I would say, could fit under the exemption of utility work within a roadway, 10.02 BI. I don't know, I don't remember the exact section, but that's how I submitted it. And do you have any questions or want to have discussion?
Any questions? Commissioners?
I was it was just going through my mind of, since we're meeting with Dan on the 17th for Jonathan Drive, would it be that much of an imposition to just swing around and look at each of these 3 sites really quickly?
Anybody have a
No,
problem?
no, we could do that.
And does that cause any problems for your funding?
No, I can still keep the project moving. It's not an issue.
So on April 17th, well, we'll be with you on Jonathan Drive, so I guess
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can just hit all 4 sites. What, within within a half hour? I'm assuming we can get all 4. I'm
Ken,
kidding.
a quick question on the on Snake Hill.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's small, but is there a maintenance plan to that or cleanout plan? I know heading south on Snake Hill, there's a pretty good ditch there, and it does collect a lot of beverage containers.
Yeah, it would get added to. So we have townwide, we have BMPs, we have rain gardens, etc., and it would get added to our stormwater management plan, which requires scheduled maintenance, biannual inspections. Pretty much we have to go out there at least twice a year to clear out the sediments that accumulate in the mulch, et cetera, et cetera. So it would get added to the DPW's maintenance.
And then also, I guess I
planning.
get a question. Oh, I'm sorry. And I also question, snow plowing, how would that affect that?
I didn't really show the detail, but it's basically just flush. The curb line is still flush. obviously, yeah, there could be a windrow that could get into there, so we could have issues with plants being damaged and things. This is a new, we haven't done one of these yet, and it's something we want to kind of try. So, yeah, so there could end up being some issues down the line, which we have to find other ways to deal with, such as snow plowing and if we have to be replanting every year, that could be a nuisance, but.
So it's kind of like a little pilot project.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like the rain garden at Peroni Park. That was our first one, and we had issues with that overtopping. And but we ended up figuring it out, and we're starting to do them better now.
All righty. So
If we walk these on the 17th, that'll give me time to sort out DEP's comment about where in the regulations this actually falls. And I did talk to Kim today about something else, and she brought this up again. It's complicated, but we'll try to make it as uncomplicated as we can.
okay. How's the weather in Florida?
It was good. We're actually on our way back now. We drove down because of COVID. We didn't want to fly. But yeah, so we're at a hotel now in South Carolina. It's pretty hot here. So it's kind of crazy with the 4 and 2-year-old, but we're making it work.
Well, we appreciate very much you taking the time out of your vacation. And
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and I appreciate, again, thanks for having me, adding extra time to the agenda too, to keep these town projects moving. So
yeah,
it's much appreciated. Yeah.
Important. Anything else from commissioners or anyone viewing? Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Right.
Hi, Dan.
Bye-bye. I guess we're done, right?
Well, let's start doing regulations, minor activities, and all that.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Cindy's gonna shut us down.
Actually, I will not do that.
Oh,
You're so good to
the
us.
old days.
nice.
We didn't waste any time tonight.
No, you got right through it.
Oh,
I didn't think we were going to do it, but nice
I
job.
know.
everyone.
Good job.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. So we will do a final roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Emphatically aye.
Mark, how do you? Everyone votes aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all